That's the key.
Okay,
Hi,
Mike.
everyone. Lovely that you could join us. I've already lunched and I'm about to learn. I don't know if you've had time for your lunch yet. So we're looking at a session today. We have Oku from QuestionPro joining us. He's going to explain about QuestionPro, so I won't go into that. But the key thing is it's using like historical and older data, making use of stuff we've already done and getting some life out of that, which can sit in those sort of vaults and boxes of data that sit around in the world. He's going to show us how we can get more out of that data. A reminder, if you could put your audio on mute during the session, there'll be time at the end for questions. You can either type them in the chat and then I'll ask them, or we can take you off mute at the end and you can ask your questions then. Thanks, everyone. And over to you, Oku.
Thank you, Mike, and welcome everyone. Just to mention, this is actually my first ever speaking engagement, so please be gentle and patient. But generally, I'm excited because today is not just about the tool, it's about something many of you have already experienced. You run a brilliant study, you deliver powerful insights, the client is happy. And then the data gets archived, filed away, and slowly it collects dust, as you say. If you're an independent consultant or working in a lean insights team, this is very common. One-off studies, separate reports, historical data sitting unused. So the question that really sparked today's session was quite simple. Like, how do we create new narratives using old surveys? I broke it down into three. How do we extract fresh insights from historical data? How do we demonstrate deeper strategic thinking to prospects? And how do we unlock value that already exists? Now, I accept not every use case will apply to everyone here, but my goal is that you leave today thinking, I could do more with the data that I already have. I'll be going through some slides today, and at the end, I'll show a pre-recorded demonstration of how all of this comes together using the QuestionPro BI dashboard. It's pre-recorded because I thought it's easier to keep me on track by pre-recording it. Now, first off, for those of you who do not know who we are, in summary, QuestionPro, we are a leading research software for data collection. So we allow for both quant and qual with advanced research methodologies like MaxDiff and conjoint and more. That's for quants. To video AI, we used to call this live casts. This is for collecting qual data within a quant environment. Now, our offering covers a broad spectrum. So from research to customer experience to audience services. So if you ever have a need for that. And also we have our in-house team that act like an agency. But today we're focusing on something different. Not data collection, data intelligence. Now, this is where QuestionPro BI come in. In summary, QuestionPro BI, it's an intuitive AI-driven data visualization and charting platform built natively into QuestionPro. That's a mouthful. Apologies, couldn't narrow it down. But what QuestionPro BI allows you to do is to add multiple surveys into one dashboard, automatically align your questions, splice data across brands, waves, or segments, apply weighting instantly, run advanced cross tabs, generate AI supported summaries, and importantly, create interactive dashboards that you can share with your end clients. More importantly, or most importantly, it's natively built into our survey platform. So no exporting needed, no rebuilding, no additional BI license costs. For an independent consultant, that's powerful because let's face it, in our world, efficiency equals margins. Now, as independents, you operate differently from large agencies. Now, you don't always have a dedicated BI team, expensive external dashboard licenses, time to rebuild data in Power BI or Tableau. You also don't have margins to spend hours manually restructuring data sets. And yet, your clients will still expect strategic content, competitive benchmarking, trend analysis, executive ready visuals. So the tension is this. How do you evaluate your strategic positioning without increasing your costs? That's where combining surveys into an intuitive BI environment really becomes powerful. So the concept is to move from one-off studies to strategic intelligence. Instead of one survey, one report, you move to multiple surveys, one connected story. Imagine being able to say to your clients, I've analyzed your satisfaction results alongside last year's brand perception study and competitor benchmarks, and here's the shifts. That changes your positioning from, or should I say, you move from project executor to strategic advisor. Now, rather than just talking about it, let me show you what this actually looks like in practice. Now, this is where I'm going to play the pre-recorded demo, but I'll be talking over it. Now, in this example, we conducted 2 studies across 2 major brands, Apple and Samsung. For each brand, we ran both a customer satisfaction study and a brand perception study. Now, rather than analyzing this separately, what we want to do is to unify everything into one streamlined analytical view, and that's where Survey Stack will come in. So first, we'll go into the BI platform or BI environment. I'll just give this a second to load. Again, this is pre-recorded. But here, I'm creating what I'll call brand stack, or sorry, brand satisfaction stack. Now, once I've created this, this will now allow me to combine multiple surveys into a single data set. So I'm going to select from Apple and my Apple and Samsung studies, and the platform automatically aligns matching questions along across surveys. So instead of manually restructuring data or worrying about inconsistencies in wording, the system intelligently maps comparable questions for me. Now, just to mention, if needed, I have the flexibility to add additional questions from different surveys, giving me full control over how my stack is structured. Now, once I save this new survey stack becomes its own data set ready for analysis. From here, we're going to move into dashboard creation. I have 2 options: a blank dashboard where I can build everything manually, or an AI-generated dashboard. In this case, I'll select the AI dashboard. The AI dashboard will scan all question types within your stack and automatically select the most appropriate visualizations or widgets, whether that's a bar chart, distribution charts, trend analysis, or other formats. Within seconds, the dashboard is fully generated, as you can see. So now at this stage, I have a structured visual across both brands and both studies. This is fully customizable, which I'll go into in a minute. But now we can refine the insights. I can add data slices based on specific questions, custom variables, geographic location, time periods, or system variables. In this example, I'm using system variables to filter by brand. And as soon as I apply that filter to the dashboard, everything updates instantly. Let's give this one more second. Combine and add. So what you'll now see is that, hold on, just give it a second. So it's all updated instantly, and now I can dynamically compare Apple and Samsung side by side, seeing exactly where satisfaction and perception differs. So this now eliminates the need to switch between separate reports. Everything lives in one interactive space. Now, I spoke about customization and flexibility, so let's talk about that. Now, if I want to change how something is displayed, I can. For example, I can adjust the gender breakdown charts. With just a few clicks, I can switch the chart type, whether that's a start bar, pie chart, or whatever format, depending on how I want to present the story. But the point is I'm not locked into a fixed layout. The dashboard adopts adapts to the narrative I need to deliver. Beyond chart types, you also have the ability to adjust the analytical views. So that's switching between counts, percentages, means, or other statistical formats, depending on stakeholder needs. And once that dashboard is ready, sharing is seamless. Now, I can generate a live link and distribute to stakeholders, giving them access to a fully interactive dashboard, so not just a static PDF. So in just a few minutes, we've combined multiple surveys, aligned data automatically, generated an AI-powered dashboard, applied dynamic filters, customized visuals, and created a live shareable insights hub, or should I say, data visualization tool. And that's the power of survey stacks combined with AI-driven dashboards. That video lasted 4 minutes, just to mention, just so you know, and I've done all of that in that time. Now, what does this mean to you as an independent consultant? You can resurface archived data as new value, offer insight refresh sessions using existing data sets. You can build competitive intelligence without new fieldwork, so combine brand and competitor studies. You can pitch smarter follow-ups. Instead of, shall we run another study? You can say, let's integrate your previous studies and identify strategic shifts. You increase perceived sophistication, so interactive dashboards elevate your brand. And importantly, you protect your margins. Faster builds, more billable time spent on thinking, not formatting. So what's your commercial advantage? Growth and differentiation is what I would say. When budgets are tight, clients may and will hesitate to commission new studies, but they're often open to reanalyzing historical data, competitive benchmarking, trend reinterpretation, executive dashboard builds, and strategic refresh sessions. Using BI, you can package insight refresh offerings, sell competitive repositioning reviews, offer wave comparison analysis, deliver enhanced executive reporting, all built from existing data sets. That's additional value without creating additional fieldwork costs. As an independent consultant, your competitive advantage isn't scale, it's agility, it's strategic depth. It's your ability to see connections others miss. The opportunity isn't always in collecting more data. Sometimes it's in asking better questions of the data you already have. So if today changes how you look at your archives, if it sparks even one idea for repackaging existing insights, then this session has done its job. Thank you, and I'm happy to take any questions from here.
Thanks a lot, Aku. That was very, very well put together and very well delivered. So an excellent first go. And I'm sure you'll be doing this a lot more. We have had a few questions come in. I'll manage them through to you. Mike Dinsdale has a question, but also had trouble contacting you on one of your phone numbers. So you might want to check your details of your phone numbers and stuff. And maybe if you don't mind, if it is a direct line to you, you could post that in the chat now, and then Mike can or Osman can put a number in there. But Mike also was asking about, I guess, adding multiple things like that. Would that make things like data fusion easier? So like comparing and processing new data. Mike, do you want to elaborate a bit on that question?
Can you hear me? I think you can.
Yes.
Yes. If one had, for example, product user data by geodemographic, and I had geodemographic data from another source, then presumably if I'm merging two surveys together and one has the geodemographic data and the other one has geodemographic data and something else, I can use this to merge them, yeah?
Yes, you can. We have something called BI variable, which is actually a new feature which allows for just that. Mike, we can perhaps connect after this, and I'll
yes,
do
that would be brilliant. I tried to contact you a couple of whenever it first went up and couldn't get through, but yeah, that would be brilliant. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, not a problem. I'll post my number in the chat, which
Thank you.
I hate to say that I don't know it off by heart. Osman, if you have my number, please post it in the chat, please.
And then there was a question from Joanna, which Usman has answered very shortly, but perhaps you could expand on it a bit, Oku. And it was a similar question that I was going to ask about bringing in data sets from outside of QuestionPro.
Well, as a matter of fact, that's a very common question I get asked quite often. The short answer is yes. So we allow for you to bring in data externally. It's quicker when it's done on the QuestionPro survey platform, as you can see, but yes, the option is available to bring externally. Also, I should mention, it's worth also knowing where that's coming from. We do have native migrations with a lot of our competitors like Qualtrics and so on. So, but yes, I'm waffling. The answer is yes. I did have a question that was sent earlier asking me about Qual. It was sent to me earlier. So yes, we have, so for instance, the video AI question type, which allows for collecting qual in a quant environment. What it does is people records their response. It uses sentiment analysis to it transcribes what they said and applies sentiment analysis. So there is a sentiment analysis widget on the BI dashboard that shows how people are feeling. But also, it's also worth just mentioning that one of the features coming out soon is a text AI feature where you can add your own, should I say, the words that are significant to yourself. Because we've learned some people would use the word bad to mean good, so you can actually set your own vernacular.
And then we've got a question from Alex talking about pricing. Is your pricing, so if you've already got, say, a QuestionPro license, is this a modular add-on or does it come as part of the standard package?
It's a modular add-on, but for now, what we're doing, especially because I've been kindly invited to do this, we'll offer it free for a limited period of time, so 3 to 6 months. And then, of course, if you look to take it on, we can discuss pricing.
And then just
Well,
so one
for those
other.
of you who, just to mention, those of you who have QuestionPro, if you click on the drop down, you should see. So let me just show you here. If you click on the drop down, this should be enabled for you.
Okay.
If it's not, please drop me an email.
Yeah, no problem. In terms of the look and feel of the sort of dashboard you were showing, the charts and stuff, is that look like a default perhaps QuestionPro one? Is it possible to customize that a bit?
Yes, everything is customizable. So for instance, this is a live one that we did before for BMW. In this case, we're happy with the actual text. But yes, let me just come into my BI dashboard. You can change pretty much everything, including the colors, and you can add branding and so on.
Great.
So
And then what's we got? And then I suppose there's a question again, follow up from Alex in terms of QuestionPro pricing. I think you do have something on your website, I know, which is there's a sort of free version that you can get access to, but perhaps you could just give us an idea of the sort of modular stuff, and particularly bear in mind ICG members are likely to be sort of 1 to 3 people, so it won't be big licenses.
I'm aware, which is why I do speak with some of you here, and some of you are already using our platform, which is great. Yes, we do have a free license for our survey platform, which is our essential. There are there are a few limitations on that license, but in terms of getting you using the platform, it's a good introduction to what we do. When you advance and you want to do more advanced methodologies, that's when you perhaps would need more of the advanced stuff. The license that I mentioned when I mentioned about research is our research edition license, which has the MaxDiff and conjoint. Now, it's a response-based license. So what that means is it depends on the number of responses you require that you get charged. So it is quite flexible. Now, as independent consultants, there are certain I'm trying to think of the word, discounts available to yourselves. But again, please just drop me an email and I'll be happy to discuss this with you. Sorry, Kathy, I saw a message from yourself. I couldn't get it. Did you, Mike? There was a message from Kathy. I didn't catch it.
Okay, yeah. There's so Kathy's asking about when we're bringing data from outside QuestionPro in, is there a specific template or a setup we should use? And then she goes on to say, if we're importing records, does that count as part of the allowance in terms of the amount of records you're coming in? Is that using up your kind of number of your allocation kind of thing?
You know, I actually had that question literally before I jumped in this call. Clients of mine from ICG asked me the exact same question. Who's a client of ours? Um, no, it does not. Again, let's just keep that short. So it will come out of your allowance, but we reimburse it. Now, we do try to have guardrails to notify us when that data comes. It want to import data so we can add it, but please just message your account manager and he'll reimburse it at no charge.
And then in terms of the template, the design of the sort of files we bring in, would it be sort of standard
Yeah,
headers in
so
the
it's
columns and headers in the rows kind of thing?
yes. Match it with the QuestionPro templates and for it to go in. Now, depending on what license you have, some licenses come with dedicated support. Your support person will be able to help you with that in terms of clean up data to import this. And just to also expand, as the license also goes, now for those of you who perhaps do brand trackers, depending on your license, we will build your skeleton visuals for you. So it's automatic for every wave. The widgets that I showed earlier, yes, we have quite a few. Just come back to them. Okay, I'll show it later. You can select if there's a widget that you've seen somewhere that you want added, it's something that we can do. Now, one of the advantages with this is it's not just visuals, you can also run your analytics on here. So like advanced crosstabs, as we can see here. Of course, I've got some data slicing here. And yeah, you can add different types of widgets. Yeah, this was broken, which I noticed, including funnel. So,
Great.
Many.
Not sure if there are any more questions. Maybe take another minute, and if anyone thinks of anything else. I've had some experience just to share. I had some experience using QuestionPro, so I found it a fairly robust platform. I haven't actually used this feature at all, and I know there's other ICG members as Oku's mentioned that are already QuestionPro users. I think in terms of, and just to your specific point, Kathy, about importing the data, um, that sort of thing, there's quite a few options in QuestionPro that allow you to sort of help define it. So if you've got a yes no question coming in, if your data's got a one and a two, you obviously kind of need to say what one and what two is. So yes, one is yes, two is no. So there's things like that you need to think about. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward just to import it. But you get menu options about choosing whether your headers and all that kind of thing. Not seeing.
Mike,
Yeah.
I see
Yes,
Mike has
may
a,
I?
yeah.
When you
Yes,
say
please.
when you say 5,000 responses, are we talking about cells, i.e., respondents times all of the questions, or are you talking about being able to import a crosstab that already exists? The way I read your earlier blurb about revitalizing existing research, if that is pretty old stuff and it exists in large crosstabs, say 10,000 cells, for example, 284 defined groups of people by 3,000 characteristics, for example, are we saying that QuestionPro has a part of it that will handle that and merge it with another year's worth of data of the same thing, say?
That I'm not sure. So, Mike,
Okay,
I think we can when we
I'll call you.
connect. Yes, please.
Thank you.
I'll bring someone in from the BI team because there's certain things that are live now. There's certain things that are imminently coming out. So I don't want to say something that's incorrect. But yes, please. Let's take this offline.
Great.
If there are no questions, I have to say for my first speaking engagement. This has been, I'm not sweating as I thought I would be. So yes, thank you all for being nice and gentle with me. Please, any questions, feel free to send me an email. Please add me on LinkedIn. And yeah, if you see me around at any event, please pop in and say hello. Which I would say, for those of you who know me, I am an extrovert, but somehow I can't do public speaking. But broken my broken
You've
my
done a
back,
great
as I
job,
say.
Oku.
Thank
Done
you
a
very
great job
much.
today. Thank you. And yeah, just a reminder to everyone, keep your eyes out on the future lunch and learns. We have a few more coming up. Brilliant. Thank you for everyone joining. Enjoy the rest of your, I think, Wednesday. And I've got sunshine here,
Yeah,
so I'm happy.
yeah, it is.
Okay, everyone. Thank
Thank you
you.
all. Have a good day. Cheers, guys. Bye bye.
Bye.